Hello and welcome everybody for this third year of Vigyan Vidushi 2022 in physics. I see that many of the students are already here and a lot of our TIFR colleagues are also on Zoom. Many of you are also connected via YouTube, and I take this chance to welcome you all. So before we start the inauguration session, let me tell people a few things about TIFR. So the main campus of TIFR is in Mumbai. It's what we call as the main campus or Kulaba campus. It has three schools: the School of Natural Sciences, School of Mathematics, and the School of Technology and Computer Sciences. The School of Natural Sciences essentially consists of departments of physics, chemistry, and biology. And you can see the list of departments here: chemical sciences, biological sciences, nuclear atomic physics, theoretical physics, astronomy, astrophysics, high energy physics, and condensed matter physics and material science. So as you see, there is a wide variety of expertise available to us in Mumbai. In Mumbai, we also have a special institution called as Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education, or HBCSC, which deals mainly with science education and is the central hub of India's Olympiad program. Then at Pune, we have the National Center for Radio Astrophysics, or NCRA. In Hyderabad, we have TIFR Hyderabad, which earlier was called as TIFR Center for Interdisciplinary Sciences. And in Bengaluru, we have a National Center for Biological Sciences, NCBS, International Center for Theoretical Sciences, ICTS, and the Center for Applicable Mathematics, CAM. In addition to this, TIFR is known to perform many of the big experiments, and for performing them, we have field stations. One is the Cosmic Ray Lab at Ooty, the Balloon Facility in Hyderabad, Gravitation Lab in Gauribidnur, Gamma Ray Observatory in Hanle in Ladakh, the Hegro Wildlife in Pachmari, and the Radio Astronomy Center in Ooty, as well as the Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope in Khodak, which is also near Pune. This was just to give people who are not a part of TIFR the impression that TIFR actually is spread all over the country, and it is not just simple one campus that you will perhaps end up seeing in Mumbai. For any more information, you can always go to TIFR website and or can write to any one of us. Vigyan Vidushi started in 2020. Originally, we actually planned it to be an in-person summer school for women students in their MSc first year. However, as Murphy's Law has it, the plans have to be changed because COVID-19 started. However, as a result, it ended up being one of the first online summer schools in physics. So this was held in June of 2020. And we started by having course lectures, tutorials, special lectures, and mentoring sessions online, which sort of worked very well. In this first edition of Vigyan Vidushi, we had 48 students who could join us directly on Zoom and have interactions one-to-one with our faculty members, and 350 students could join live stream on YouTube. The feedback was extremely positive, and as a result, two things happened. One is that Vigyan Vidushi expanded its activities in the second year, that is 2021. In physics, which again happened in last year's June, we actually had about 56 students direct interaction, and now almost 800 people could have a look at it online. And in addition, the computer science and mathematics faculty in TIFR also were inspired, and they started their own Vigyan Vidushi programs in 2021. This year also it's going to continue. Computer science has already started their Vigyan Vidushi program a couple of days ago, and mathematics will happen in a few weeks. So a few words about the format of Vigyan Vidushi 2022 in physics. We are going to have it in dual mode, in online and on-site, because no, we were not quite sure whether to what the condition about the pandemic would be in these days. So we decided to play safe. The online mode is what starts today, goes on for about 12 days. And in this, we will have courses on classical mechanics, classical and quantum optics, and cosmology. With these courses, of course, will come tutorials and mentoring sessions and career discussions. Then from 22nd of July to 1st of August, so about, I guess, 12 more days, the program will shift on-site, when the selected students would be able to come to the Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education, or HBCSE. And here we are going to offer some very special courses, which in principle cannot be done in an online format at all. One is experimental techniques. Second is a course on probability statistics and data visualization. And a third is a course which is called thinking through problems. Okay. And let's see how this goes. It's a new experiment, and I'm sure it will succeed. The students coming in Vigyan Vidushi 2022, as you see in this map, will be coming from all parts of the country. The green stars that you see are the students who will be attending these sessions through Zoom, and also will be coming for the on-site part in HBCSE in about 2 weeks. However, if you see all the red dots, all of these students are going to be able to attend all the lectures in the online part in the hybrid mode. So we have taken care to ensure that there is a wide geographical distribution, as well as distribution in various institutions, universities, and smaller colleges. So this is going to be the format of this inauguration session. Well, I was Amol Dige, who has already welcomed you and given us an introduction. After this, we will have opening remarks by the director of TIFR. He has assumed charge only a few days ago. So this is one of the first meetings that he's going to preside over, Professor Jairam Chengulur. Then we'll have Center Director of HBCSE, Professor Arnab Bhattacharya. And after that, my other co-conveners will tell you about Vigyan Vidushi in general. So next, we will go to Professor Jairam Chengulur, and I will request him to address the gathering.
Thank you, Amol. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thank you. So good morning, all. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this 2022 Physics Vigyan Vidushi program. As we just heard from Amol, this was the original flavor of the Vigyan Vidushi program. And it's really very good to see that it's being replicated in the other disciplines at TIFR. And to give you a little bit of background, unfortunately, as we all know, and TIFR is no exception, women are very highly underrepresented in research institutions. Now, there are many reasons offered to understand why this may be so, but I don't think, I'm going to get into that right now. What I'd like to point out is that the Vigyan Vidushi program is aimed at trying to do something to make a change. The broad aim of this program is to promote research as a career among women. And as we just heard from Amol, the program has a very diverse mix of components, which I understand include opportunities to work in the lab, lectures by eminent women scientists, as well as discussions on gender-related issues. And as we also heard, you'll all come from across the country, from all corners of the country, from a range of different educational institutions, which I think is an excellent thing. It's also, as Amol told us, the first edition of the program that will have an in-person component. And I'm very confident that being here in person, interacting with one another, as well as the resource persons in the program, will be a very enriching experience for all of you. So that's all I had to say by way of a brief welcome. I wish you all the best for what I'm sure will be a wonderful program. Thank you.
Thank you, Jairam. Now we will have Professor Arnab Bhattacharya, who is the Center Director of Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education, which I mentioned is a unique center in TIFR. Over to you, Arnab.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Vigyan Vidushi 2022. Spotlight myself, I guess. Okay, so on behalf of HPCSE, the Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education, I am really extremely happy to welcome you all to what I hope is going to be a really remarkable learning experience for all of us and all of you. So both as a center director of HPCSE and a physicist myself, I'm really happy that HPCSE, we are hosting this edition of Vigyan Vidushi. In particular, we are doing it with the experimental component that will be held here later on this month. And, today we, of course, start online, but I really hope to welcome you again to our small, but what I think is a beautifully green campus. In fact, if you see the videos of me and Anvesh, who's also sitting at HPCSE, what's behind is not a virtual screen or something. It's actually the green trees that you see behind us. And, when you come here, I hope it's going to rain like crazy. There's a certain charm about the Mumbai monsoon. And, you're going to enjoy that experience as well of being here, doing experiments, meeting people, discussing things in this lovely environment over here. So I don't want to give a long speech, but a couple of things that I really want to talk about and highlight some very nice connections. So let me tell you a bit about HPCSE for starters. We are, of course, a part of TIFR and we've been looking at various issues connected with equity and excellence in STEM education now for almost 50 years. And, many of you may not be aware that science education research is different than just doing research in physics or in astronomy or in biology or chemistry or something. We do research in science education. And in particular, you will have some exposure to physics education research as well during this Vigyan Vidushi thing, and you might find it's actually quite insightful. And a really important area in which HPCSE has focused on all through the past has been gender equity. And even now we have people who look at gender equity in physics education in particular, and which is one of the reasons HPCSE took the lead in starting a program like Vigyan Vidushi, and we are really happy that we will see all of you here later this month. And while you are here, do check out. There's a lot of work on gender and science that's been done here. The exhibitions and all you can see. Check it out. And by the way, I'm sure Vandana will probably tell you about it later. But HPCSE will also host EQUIP, ICWIP, the International Conference of Women in Physics, next year. So that's another big event coming up. And as you heard, we are not only working in this. HPCSE works in a lot of areas, right from hosting some of the country's very large programs like the Science Olympiads or the National Initiative in Undergraduate Science, Vigyan Pratibha, we interact with teachers and students at all levels, all that. Okay, now, on a personal note, I'd like to say, you've all done great by choosing physics, okay? Every branch of science is fantastic, has plenty of opportunities for research. Today, I think you can do fantastic research no matter which area of science you are in. But physics, and as a physicist, is, I think, really special. Chemistry, with due apologies to all my friends, deals with, electrons having fun with each other, forming bonds, whatever else. Biology starts off with chemistry, the processes of life, goes on to cells and organisms. And what's the largest organism? It's like, meters for us, 10 meters, 100 meters for the tallest trees. So these cover maybe a few orders of magnitude. Physics goes sort of across the universe. You can look at galaxies at the edge of the universe, which is probably 10 to the 26 meters or so. You can look at protons that are zipping through the Large Hadron Collider. And okay, here's your first homework problem. 4 TeV going around proton, that's the de Broglie wavelength, will be something like 10 to the minus 20 or 21 meters or something like that. Work that out. So 47 orders of magnitude. I am sure you will find something interesting in this. It's such a vast spectrum. And believe me, today there's such a fantastic overlap between physics and chemistry, physics and biology, physics and anything else. It's a very safe thing. In fact, when you come here, ask me about this mask. I didn't know for all these years. The way this mask works is thanks to what you learn in chapter 1 of electrostatics. It's this Coulomb attraction and things like this. So, there's physics everywhere. Okay. On another note, any day is a wonderful day to talk about science, a wonderful day to talk about physics, and every day is special. And 5th July today is no exception. So, I'm going to give you a small quiz over here. So, I'm going to show you a picture. I hope you can see my screen. And this says that this is a publication. This is Latin. And it says that this is July 5th, 1686. July 5th, 1686 is the day a very, very, very famous book is published. If you want, you can put it in the chat if you know which book this is. I'm going to give you a little hint. This book is published in London, which is basically London. And let's see, is anything coming up in the chat? Where is Zoom? Okay, anyway, let me just go ahead. And this is the very, very famous Principia of Isaac Newton. You can see the author is I.S. Newton. So this is a great day to start anything in physics, the day the Principia was first published. And just the way, let me stop this. Just the way the Principia changed the world, way we understood the world, we understood how things moved around. I hope Vigyan Vidushi will also be this experience that changes your perception of physics, of science in general, and makes this fascinating journey that we're all part of, a journey of research, much more enjoyable and exciting for you. And of course, I'd like to give a shout out to all those people who have made this event possible. Of course, you will see Vandana, Amol, and Anvesh, the coordinators who put all this program together. But there are lots of people who've actually been behind the scenes, and especially people at HBCSE, whom I should thank. They've managed, in spite of various constraints, disruptions due to the pandemic, what have you. They've put together this really eclectic, mix of talks, experiments, mentoring sessions. But right from, people setting up the backend Moodle to ensuring that you're going to be hosted here when you come. There are a lot of people you'll probably never see, but whose contributions are very critical. And I'd like to thank all of them. And naturally, I can't forget that we must thank TIFR, our parent institution, who has supported us with this VV program and all the others in the past. And, you are going to be in for some fantastic, exciting deliberations, learning experience in the next few days. Make full use of it and ask lots of questions, because, as I will end with this, that I'm just going to share my last thing again of Newton. But if you want to be a wise person, you must be a wise person. This is my Chai and Why tagline. So please ask lots of questions and have a great time. And over to you, Amol, to take us ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Arnab. So since Arnab talked about asking questions and Principia, let me just mention how the origin of Principia. And it actually happened when Halley was visiting Newton, and Newton said, "Oh, but I now know how planets work." And he said, "Oh, but you are assuming planets are point particles, but they're actually spheres. How do you know it does not matter?" And Newton went back and worked on it for 3 years. And in order to explain this, he actually wrote Principia. That actually was the origin through this one question of Halley that came. Anyway, sorry for the digression, because, but as you know, when physics comes, then physicists like to talk. Okay, so let me go into my my MC mode again. So that was Professor Arnab Bhattacharya, the Center Director of HBCSE. Now, Professor Vandana Nannal, who is a nuclear physicist and convener of VE 2022, will tell us more about the concept of Vigyan Vidushi. Vandana, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Amol. Let me share my screen. So I hope you all can see my screen. Yeah. So good morning and a very warm welcome to all of you. We already heard from Director TIFR the need for Vigyan Vidushi, or how the things came about. And after this brief, interesting welcome remarks by both Jairam and Arnab, let me walk you through some thoughts behind that. What was the thought process that culminated into Vigyan Vidushi. So it is just briefly titled as Concept of Vigyan Vidushi. You might see some repetition, but let us try to go through some of the things quickly. So as we all know, and perhaps today you are aware as compared to what the awareness levels were when I was a graduate student, don't ask me how many years back. The gender gap in the STEM, that is the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, is a matter of global concerns. And this is overall, it's find that this female student enrollment is particularly low in natural science, mathematics, and statistics at about almost 5%. And the population is about 50%. In India, the problem of gender imbalance in physics is acute. In among this same, the physics becomes even particularly acute. And this is so more so when it comes to research institutes, because if you look at the universities and colleges, you do have the, compared to many other countries in India, at school level, there are more girls who are interested in science. But as you go up, things get difficult. And as you go to even more senior positions, particularly in the research institutes, you find fewer and fewer women. So this is also known as a leaky pipeline problem, but in India, as one of my colleagues described, it's more like a waterfall rather than a leaky pipeline. So if I have to quote some numbers, because the numbers bring the stark reality to forefront, that in last year, when the survey of select physics departments of DAE, DST research institutes and IITs was done, we found that actually at doctorate level, the PhD student level, the fraction is very small. It's about less than 1/4. Of course, the problem is very complex because there are a lot of societal factors which play a role, lot of systematic corrections which are required in the many systems. And so it needs a multi-pronged approach. The good thing is that in the last 2 decades, we have at least progress to address that this is a kind of a systematic problem and not an individual problem, and it needs to be addressed to ensure the both the inclusivity as well as the progress sustainability. Because why should people worry about missing women in physics is because we are actually missing out on many 50% of the resources. So Vigyan Vidushi, as was told by the director in his opening remarks, is a small but a concrete step towards addressing the problem of underrepresentation of women in science in India. Many of you may know that about 5 years back, United Nations declared February 11 as International Day of Women and Girls in Science, again moving towards this goal. So coming back to the question, why so few women in science? And this problem has been looked at both globally and also in Indian context. And there are some commonalities in the issues and some specific differences. I highlight a few comments from the various reports. I don't want to go into the details of the reports, but the major point which was highlighted in a kind of a first ever study in India, which was done at the behest of the Indian National Academy of Sciences, I believe, that mentoring mechanisms and integrating sessions during workshops and conferences to enhance capabilities of women scientists are important factors in attracting and retaining women in science. And honing networking skills is important, and such measures to provide greater opportunities for women scientists need attention. Globally, a survey report was also revealed that women physicists still do not have equal access to the career advancing resources and opportunities enjoyed by their male colleagues. More recently, if we look at the impact of the pandemic, and in India, there was a national survey and a discussion forum for online teaching. This pointed out that the impact of pandemic is more adverse for women students and teachers. These are the problems. And there are now definitely an efforts also from all the various sectors. And I would mention that the recent STI, the STIP, the Science and Technology Innovative Policy of DST, also emphasizes on equity and inclusion. This also forms an important aspect in national education policy. Again, very recently, that is in 2022, the DST and UNESCO together had carried out some survey and have released recommendations. So one of the things which they highlight is promote mentorships and inclusion of gender sensitization in science education. Now, the only purpose of going through all these details was to emphasize that the mentoring plays an important role in shaping the careers of the young women scientists. And this was something which we kept in very much mind while planning Vigyan Vidushi. So what's the unique about Vigyan Vidushi? So this is aimed at providing opportunities to level the playing field as well as increasing awareness. So importantly, this program will enable you guys, that is the young women research aspirants, to interact with established women scientists, which will help also in breaking the gender stereotype as well as learn from their experiences and provide motivation to go there. So many others have gone. You can also cross with the path and bridge and get there. So what program aims to do, as was also told by Amol, is that give advanced training in physics with emphasis on basic concepts and problem solving. This is an important step towards moving into the research. Give information about opportunities for career in physics research. This is like what it means to have a research career or a science related career, and give a glimpse of challenges to help you prepare to face the same. We do not have any ready-made solutions because everybody will have to find their solutions. But there's one thing is that you see a certain common problems and find the ways to, we hope that the interactions will enable you to find the ways for yourself. So this is roughly a 3 weeks duration broken into 2 parts for online and on-site this year. And we are, the students are actually, you people all are at a threshold of deciding whether to opt for PhD, pursue career in physics. And we hope you all will be convinced at the end of this school in going ahead. So there are 3 components of the program. One is, of course, the training in advanced physics. And I will talk about the second component, which is the interactive guidance sessions for research career and physics and gender related challenges. And there's, of course, the introduction to PR at HBCSE. And my colleague, co-convener, Prasanvesh Muzumdar, will talk about detailed structure of the course. You've already seen this slide, so I'll go very quickly through that. This represents the applications which came from all over India, and this was really a very tough job to select about 50 students. So we have 53 participants in Zoom, and while all the physics sessions are open to all the participants, the interaction sessions and the discussions happen with the Zoom participants. And when they come on site, when at TIFR and HBCSE. The online has also offered us an opportunity to involve actually mentors, senior women scientist mentors from India and abroad for interactive sessions. So that's an advantage which we cashed upon in the last 2 years, and we will do this year also. So as a part of the interactive guidance sessions, we will have 2 workshops. One will actually focus on a research career in physics, giving you, acquainting you with opportunities and challenges. So this tells you about how to pursue a PhD, what are possibilities after PhD, how do you apply, how do you write proposals, and what are the various options in academics, non-academics, and so on. And the second one, which is very much also related because the women are known to be low on self-confidence, is improving self-confidence and overall combating biases. There could be implicit biases, microaggressions, imposter syndrome. Some of these may even be the words which do not make complete sense to you, but we will discuss more about it and learn about it as we go along. So we have group discussions with women scientists to have this free dialogue. So we will have about 12 women scientists meeting a group of 50, and we will meet in smaller groups, both in the online and on-site format, so we can have a free discussion. And I will tell you why that at least the feedback what we have received on that is very, very positive, and that's where we would like to continue on that. And we will learn from your inputs as well. We also learn from your inputs. In addition, there will be a special lecture series by eminent women scientists, and there'll be 4 lectures. So I'll tell you a brief about it. So give me a moment to share the feedback from the last 2 sessions, last 2 editions of Vigyan Vidushi, particularly related to this group discussion part, because most of the students have, of course, found the course and materials useful, and many said it helped them in making a decision about pursuing career in physics. But I would like to highlight what I at least became closer to me and my colleagues' hearts is that most of them appreciated interactive discussions with women scientists. And this was, since it's our USP. So I will share a couple of snippets from the feedbacks. So one of the students said that VV 2020 was an incredible experience for me, and I got to learn so much. But I think the biggest impact that VV 2020 had on me was not the coursework, it was about boosting my confidence. I've always been a shy and introvert girl who constantly felt overwhelmed. On the very first days of VV 2020, you told us about imposter syndrome, and it has been a learning curve since then. We had similar feedbacks in the last year also. So the students said these interactive sessions were very helpful in the sense that most of the students were not clear about their career options, which were cleared by experienced personalities. And the biggest gain was the confidence to speak and share your problem with other people, which was very difficult even for me in smaller groups. Another person highlights that the safe space that these sessions provided cannot be overstated. In all my academic career, I never had access to such a forum where I could discuss my fears and insecurities without fear of being judged. And she goes on to say a lot of things, but I would just read the last line that I also enjoyed being in a woman-only space where we are taught to see each other as friends and helpers instead of competitors. So the idea of sharing this with you was the kind of set the background, and we look forward to a much more interacting sessions with you. And we hope we all will have a good dialogue, and I'm quite sure that we will have many good interactions. If you want to read more about information and reports of Vigyan Vidushi 2020, there are various references. This also will be made available to you on the Moodle. So 2 points I just want to add here, that these Vigyan Vidushi interactive workshops seeded the ideas of the workshops at national level by the Indian Physics Association Gender Group. The series is called PAUSE, Program for Aspiring Women Scientists. And as Arnab already mentioned, IPA and TIFR will host the 8th International Conference on Women in Physics. It's an IUPAP series conference, and we are really glad to have got this opportunity. This will happen next year, that is in 2023. Now I'll end with this last slide where I share with you the special lecture series. So we have 4 lectures this year. Last year, we started Bibha Chowdhury Memorial Lecture to honor the first woman scientist of TIFR, Bibha Chowdhury. And this year, this special lecture will be given by Professor Sarbani Basu, who's an astrophysicist from Yale University. She is a TIFR alumnus. And this lecture is today at 4:30. The other 3 lectures will be given by eminent scientists from India, Professor Shikha Verma and Professor Indumati. And we also have a talk by entrepreneur, Dr. Priyadarshini Karve. She is a CEO of Samuchit Envirotech, and this lecture will be jointly organized by the Asset Colloquium series of TIFR. So I'll stop here now and wish you a very nice VV 2022 and look forward to interacting with you. I will be definitely meeting you in all the career discussion sessions as well as in experimental techniques course. Thank you.
Thank you, Vandana. So that was Professor Vandana Nanal. Now we'll have Professor Anvesh Majumdar, who's from HBCSC. He is also the co-convener of VV 2022, and he will tell us what we'll be doing over the next few weeks. Overview of VV 2022. So over to you, Anvesh.
You're muted.
Anvesh, we cannot hear you. No.
Can't hear you still, Anvesh.
Okay, I will.
Yes, now
you're on. You're on.
Can hear. Yeah, good.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for the glitch. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So I hope you can see my screen and you can also hear me clearly.
Yes.
Okay. So good morning, everybody. And on my personal behalf, as well as on behalf of all the organizers of Vigyan Vidushi 2022, again, a very warm welcome to all of you in this virtual mode of the program that we are now in. And later on, of course, we'll be very happy to meet you all here at the Homi Bhabha Center, as well as in TIFR Colaba. So I will try to give an overview of the entire program for the benefit of the students and all the other people, all the audience here, as to what is going to happen over the next roughly 3 weeks. So the main features of VV 2022, that's the short name that we use, are the following. So the overall aim, as my colleagues have already pointed out, is to equip women students better for an open competition, not just in a reserved space, but in an open competition on academic and other fronts. So the whole idea of the program is to share the time, divide the time between training in content matter and also mentoring, as Professor Nanal has already given you some idea of the mentoring session. And the one major part is, of course, the training in content matter of physics. So we try to strike a balance between the so-called core topics in physics and also specialized areas of research. So in this year's program, what we have are the following. We have one course on a basic topic. Professor Dighe has already mentioned a course on classical mechanics. And we also have 2 courses on special topics. And these will be in the online section of the program. We in the on-site section, we also have 2 interactive courses. I will not really call them courses, but a series of sessions focused on developing analytical and problem-solving skills. And I will tell you what they are in a minute. We are also offering the video lectures of 6 courses from previous editions of Vigyan Vidushi in the last 2 years. Those are also being made available to the participants. And in one of the main focus areas of the on-site component is experimental physics, and which we feel is one of the perhaps most neglected areas in science in general and in physics in particular at all levels, especially in India. So in this, we will have a few lectures on some general techniques of data collection, analysis, and estimation. And there will be introduction to vacuum techniques and cryogenics and detectors. The students will perform 4 laboratory experiments focused on major areas in physics. These will all happen at the Homi Bhabha Center. And also the students will visit 6 research laboratories at TIFR Colaba. These will be interactive visits where you are all encouraged to ask as many questions as you want and try to understand what's really going on. And we'll also have demonstrations of 2 unique experiments at TIFR. One special thing of the Vigyan Vidushi program is its situation and its connection with the Homi Bhabha Center, where we do science education research. And so we will have a few sessions to introduce you to the idea of physics education research, or PR as we call it. This is a niche area unique to HBCSE, and this is not usually covered in our usual university curricula. So briefly, this is the outline of the program. So we have a mixed mode of online and on-site components of nearly equal duration, about 10 to 11 working days in each. And we overall, we have 6 main courses, which will comprise about 80 hours. We also have these 6 recorded lectures, which have already been made available of about 45 hours total duration. The interactive lab visits will happen at TIFR over 2 full days. And there will be special lectures by 4 eminent women scientists. Professor Nanal has already talked about this. For physics education orientation, we will have 5 sessions. And there will be 4 sessions of career discussion and mentoring workshops. And of course, you will have time to informally meet with your colleagues, sometimes with the mentors and sometimes just among yourselves, both in the online component. And of course, when you are at HBCSE, you will be staying at the hostel. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities to interact with each other and build new friendships and maybe some peer groups for the future. And so during the on-site component, the students will be hosted at HBCSE. all the classroom and laboratory activities will be held here, and there will be 2 full-day visits to TIFR. That's the overall plan. I'll get into some details now. So the main courses that we are offering in this edition of Vigyan Vidushi are classical mechanics, which is being taught by Professor Amol Digir from the Department of Theoretical Physics, TIFR. Then there will be a course on classical and quantum optics offered by Professor Sushil Majumdar from the Department of Nuclear Physics, Nuclear and Atomic Physics in TIFR. We have a course on cosmology from Tirthankar Rai Chaudhuri from NCRA TIFR, the National Center for Radio Astrophysics, which is in Pune. This will be, all these 3 courses will be in the online section of the program. In the in-person section, we have a long course on experimental techniques, as I said, including lectures and laboratory sessions. And the visits to TIFR are also sort of included in that. And this has 4 mentors: Shirish Pathare from HBCSE, Shri Ganesh Prabhu from the Condensed Matter Physics Group at TIFR, and Professors Vandana Nanal and Rudrajyoti Palit from Department of Nuclear and Atomic Physics at TIFR. Along with these, so these experimental techniques course will happen mostly in the afternoons. Along with these, in the mornings, we have 2 courses, one offered by Dr. Nishita Desai from the Department of Theoretical Physics, TIFR. This will be on probability, statistics, and data visualization. So this is the kind of, as Professor Dike earlier mentioned, these are sort of quote-unquote experimental courses. We are trying to do things in a different way. So we feel that these are important things in learning physics, and Dr. Desai will try to guide you through that. And the other idea along the same lines is that what we have named Thinking Through Problems. So this will be a course offered jointly by Professor Rajdeep Sen Sharma from Theoretical Physics TIFR and myself. And we will try to basically focus on how to attack a given problem, even if you don't know the full solution, how you can go a long way and how you can make some very good inroads into the problem. So basically learning to think through problems. That's the aim of this course. And along with that, the video lectures from the past Vigyan Vidushi courses have already been made available. These are in the areas of quantum mechanics, statistical mechanics, introduction to nuclear and particle physics, introduction to astrophysics, introduction to laser and plasma physics, and introduction to quantum computation. So these video lectures are available to the students, and they will be kept available for a limited time, but we hope that the students will also go through these. And if you have questions, you have the opportunity of posting them on the fora on the Moodle platform. And the mentors will surely try to answer them. We have more things, as I mentioned earlier. So we'll have 5 expository sessions on physics education research. These will be given by myself and Dr. Mashood, Dr. Praveen Pathak, and Dr. Shirish Pathare. All of us are from HBCSE TIFR. And we shall be dealing with topics that include student conceptions in physics, mathematical modeling, and certain uncommon learning strategies using smartphones or using demonstrations for thermal physics and thermodynamics and things like that, which I'm sure not many of you have come across in your usual university curricula. And Professor Nanal already talked about the mentoring sessions. So these are in the career discussion sessions. These will be led by Professor Bhaspati Mukherjee from the Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics, TIFR, Dr. Deepa Chari from HBCSE, and Professor Sarita Vig from the Indian Institute of Space Technology, Thiruvananthapuram. Professor Vig is an ex-student of TIFR, and we are very happy to have her back with us in this endeavor. Along with these 3, there will be about 9 or 10 other experienced women researchers from across all the TIFR centers and TIFR Kolaba, some TIFR ex-students, and some people who are now positioned in different institutions across the country. These sessions will also include all the women coordinators in VV 2022. All of them are welcome to attend these. Many of them are themselves at an early stage of their career. So this section will be for women only. And Professor Nanal has already told you about the 4 special lectures that we have. One is today afternoon, and the others, the 2 of them are in the on-site component, including today's, and 2 in the in the online component, and 2 in the on-site component. So we have in the online component, each online course has lectures interspersed with tutorials on an average of 2:1 ratio. It varies a bit according to the topic. And we shall have the sessions of 1 hour, where typically there'll be about 45 minutes of lecture, which will be interspersed with questions and answers of about 15 minutes. And even after this 1 hour, the students will have an additional few minutes to write in questions, which will be passed on to the instructor to answer in subsequent sessions or over the Moodle platform. And even the students who are attending these lectures on YouTube are encouraged to write their questions on YouTube chat, and the coordinators in the Zoom room will pass them on to the speaker to answer them, so that they can also hear their answers in real time. We have the tutorial sessions along with these lectures, and for the tutorials, to encourage more interactive sessions, we divide the whole class of 53 students into 2 sections, and these tutorials will be run in parallel with different mentors, and these are expected. It's expected that the students will interact, will have more opportunity to interact with the mentors and ask questions. And the career discussion and mentoring sessions will also be in smaller groups, sometimes in 2 groups, sometimes in even smaller 6 or 7 breakout rooms. In the on-site component, the sessions are of about 1.5 hour duration, but these will be not really like lecture sessions. These will be more interactive, either, orally, or we shall also use computers to let the students do something and then go from there. In the experimental part, the focus is not just on getting a particular result or making a particular measurement, but also on the exploration and the design of how to design experiments and the procedural understanding why we are doing certain things in a certain way. That will be the focus of all the experiments that have been designed. And as I said earlier, there'll be visits to research laboratories, 6 research laboratories across the spectrum of research in TIFR. So each student will visit actually 6 laboratories, but we have about 10 overall, and so they will go in groups. So just to give you an idea of the numbers, so we have 53 students from about 51 institutions in the online classroom, that is on Zoom, and in the on-site component as well. And additionally, about 600 applicants whom we could not accommodate in this classroom, they have been invited to attend the online lectures on live stream on YouTube. This is for the online component only. We have overall 10 instructors and 19 tutors in this year's edition, and we have an almost equal split between men and women in that. Most of them are current TIFR. By that I mean pan-TIFR, not just Colaba, HBCSE, NCRA, ICS. We have most of them from the TIFR family. Some are our ex-students and colleagues, and 1 or 2 outside. We have about 12 women resource persons participating in the career discussion and mentoring workshops. And we also have 7 additional coordinators for the online classrooms to make the experience very smooth for both the lecturer as well as the student. And all this was, of course, planned and marshaled by a 12-member academic committee, and we are supported very strongly by a 3-member technical committee. So the academic committee has members from TIFR main campus, HBCSE, and NCRA. You can see their names here. The academic committee is responsible for the design of the academic program and the mentoring sessions. They were also involved in the selection of participants, and in this we were aided by other colleagues from TIFR and CRA and even outside, and we thank all of them for helping us. And many members of the academic committee are also playing leading roles in the different courses and the mentoring sessions. We must also thank many teachers, tutors, and mentors from TIFR main campus, HBCSE and CRA, and other institutions who are all part of the program. And they have very gladly accepted to help us. So we thank all of them. Now, running a program in online and on-site mode requires a lot of support. And we are very lucky to have a great technical committee here with us. And they are at the background always, but they make the experience very smooth. And their task starts from even from the application stage, the online application and evaluation, the online platform for classrooms and for material dissemination. We are using a Moodle platform, and every student was given an opportunity to get oriented and training in the online classroom prior to the program. Last week, they held these sessions, and we thank all these people, and they will be, of course, with us throughout the program. Additionally, I already mentioned that we have a team of academic and technical coordinators who will help us in the online classroom. And we must thank many other people, including laboratory staff, administrative staff, and especially at the Homi Bhabha Center, the hostel security and the canteen staff who will all make your experience an enjoyable and pleasant one. So I thank all of you, and for all of you for attending this session, and welcome to Vigyan Vidushi 2022. We hope to have a great time over the next 3 weeks. Thank you.
So thank you, Anvesh. So this brings us to the close of this inauguration session. Before we go further, I'd just like to announce these 4 talks, the special lecture that we are going to have. The timetable will be, of course, available on the Vigyan Vidushi webpage. And there's a Vigyan Vidushi Physics YouTube channel. So you could just subscribe to that, and you would also get access to some of the special lectures that have been held in previous Vigyan Vidushi sessions. So that's it for now. Thank you all for coming for this session. And for all the students, we will see you very soon at 11 o'clock when the first lecture will start. So thanks.
Thank you.